it was kind of scary. I was literally afraid to get out of the car.
Hey, welcome to Powerful Shares. I'm here to connect. I'm Melissa, and here we discuss powerful stories, hoping to connect with different people out there because we are not alone in our struggles. Today, my guest is Beck, and they're going to share their experience on being non-binary. So, Beck, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
So, how have you been?
Good. How have you been?
Good. Fellow Boston.
I know, right? Shout out.
Shout out to the Boston. So, do you want to start from the beginning, or do you want to just dive into your experience? What do you think?
Sure. I mean, so I'm Beck. I'm 39. When I was a kid, I was a super tomboy. Looking at me, you would have thought I was a little boy. I thought I was a little boy. I played with all little boys and whatever. My mom got me little boys Happy Meals from, so it's literally I've never ever been your traditional girl in a sense,
Okay.
And when I say once gender started playing a role in my life was probably when I was in elementary school, and my cousins, right, they'd all be running around in their shorts and no shirts on, and we're all just kids, 5 to 8 years old,
Right.
and I didn't know why I had to be in this onesie type thing. So my mom was like, it doesn't matter, you can go put on shorts and go bum around, because I looked different from all my cousins. Well, not all my cousins were the majority of my cousins, except for Sarah, my cousin Sarah, they're all boys.
Okay.
So they would all come over to the pool and they would all have their swim trunks on, even my friends. And I was in just a different bathing suit. So I knew that they were boys and that I was a girl, so there was something separating us, but I never understood why I couldn't wear shorts in the pool. Why do I have to wear this weird looking bathing suit? And this is from a very early age. And when I was 6, my mom was like, it's fine, just go. She literally bought me a pair of boys' swim trunks. And until I hit puberty, so it started becoming a lady, if you will.
Okay.
I obviously had to stop, which that makes sense. But until I hit puberty, I asked my parents to call me Jeff.
Wait, okay. Can we pause for a second? Because I think that this is an important conversation. Do you mind explaining, in your words, your definition, what non-binary is? Because there's so many different opinions out there, whatever. And so for you, what does that mean?
Okay, so non-binary. Okay, so when you're born, right, you are born either a male or a female. That is your sex. Mm-hmm. That is not your gender, okay? Gender is a social construct that was made up by humans, made up by us, of how you're supposed to act as what's in your pants, as the genitalia that you have.
According to your sex.
Mm-hmm. According to your sex. So your gender is it's a social construct that people made up a long, long time ago on ways that you are supposed to act according to your sex, okay? I don't bind to either sex, okay? So for gender being it made up, I'm not out here denying that, I am biologically female. I have the reproductive system of a female. There's no denying that. I'm not trying to cause confusion or trick anybody. I just don't act traditionally the way women are supposed to act. That's gender. Mm-hmm. Sit with your legs crossed. Sit like a lady. Don't do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's boys will be boys. Those are literally things that people have made up as excuses or ways to fit humans, to categorize us into boxes because it makes people feel better. I don't fit into either box. I don't act like a lady. I don't act like a dude. I am just somewhere in the middle. So transgender and cisgender are not made up words. They are Latin prefixes. So cis is a Latin prefix, and it means on this side. So when you put cis before the word gender, it just means you're on that side. So if you're cisgender, you act how you're supposed to act.
You act according to your sex.
Yes.
Okay, so I was born female, and I relate to being a woman.
So you are a cisgender
I'm a
woman.
cisgender woman.
I am a transgender. Well, I am transgender, but because trans is an umbrella, right? And so non-binary. Oh, so trans. Let me get into that. So cis means on this side, and trans means it's another prefix, and it means across or beyond or on the other side of. So that when you say that someone's transgender, it means that they're on the opposite side of what society told you.
Well, can I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just like back up a little bit, right? Because you said something and it made me think of a question. So non-binary is you don't bind to either side.
To either sex.
So you personally don't, Beck, you don't bind to male or female, right?
I'm androgynous too.
Androgynous. Okay, so if you don't bind to either side, wouldn't that make you non-cis and non-trans, because it's neither side? If trans means opposite side, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but trans is like, I guess like all in. Yeah, gender is like it's like an umbrella, or like is that the right word? Yeah, it's like an umbrella. So it's like, so trans, the Latin prefix just means on the other side of gender. So gender is male or female sex, especially when considered to reference to social and cultural norms rather than their biological ones. So you're like the way you intrinsically feel. So when I was a kid, I didn't want to play with dolls. But society tells me I'm supposed to play with dolls.
Got it.
But I don't want to play with dolls, but you're supposed to.
Got it.
Why am I supposed to play with dolls?
Okay, so
Because you're a girl.
I get it. Yeah, I gotcha.
But I don't like those. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah. You resonate with the trans, the other side.
Yes. And under that umbrella is non-binary.
And under that under the trans umbrella is non-binary, where you don't bind. Okay, so can we go back to Jeff?
Yeah.
So when you were 5, was it? When you were a kid?
I was a little bit older than that. I remember I was at Busch Gardens with my family, and I looked at my dad, and I looked at him and said, like father, like son. He just laughed at me. And then I asked my entire family to call me Jeff, because my cousin Jake were 6 days apart. Everybody thought we were twins. And so when people, I'm not joking, you had to tell people that I was a girl, because they'd be like, how old are he's so funny, and like my mom would be like, she, like, you know, because back then, like in the 80s and the 90s, that wasn't a thing. Like I was just a tomboy. I'm just gonna grow out of it. I used to like literally be like bummed out when my mom would be like, she, I'd be like, shut up, Jeff.
Yeah. Okay.
But so it's like people just have like this like thought in their head, and it's not like I don't know why, I do know why, and it's like fear mongering. You know what I mean? Like fear mongering. Nobody's trying to like trick anybody, or like I think it's 0.5 or 1.5 or something like that of the whole entire world is transgender, and like the people that are just like, we just want to live, like we just want to just live our lives and be like left alone.
Yeah.
We're not the people that you have to worry. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It kind of, I don't know. When it becomes like a question of safety, it's like can get, you know, when you're actually fearing for your safety, it's scary. I never thought that like that would happen to me. And then when I drove across the country, it was different.
Something happened?
Oh yeah. I was in Oklahoma, went into a gas station. There were 2 women working behind the counter, obviously. And I was like, hey, do you guys have any ice? And I was further away. I was probably like, I don't know, like 10 feet away from them. It was during COVID. No one was in there. They just completely didn't say anything. So I like took like a step closer. I was like, maybe they didn't hear me. Because like I had a mask on. It was literally the heart of 2020. Or it was March of 2020.
Okay.
Or May of 2020. And I got like closer and I like took my mask down. And I was like, do you guys have ice? Crickets. So at this point, I know that they hear me. They're just ignoring me. And I go up to the counter and I was like, do you not hear me?
They both worked there?
Both of them. And they were both talking about, and I was like, do you guys have ice? And the lady like looked at me. Like literally, she's this long. They were very, very rude to me.
Wow.
And then when I got my friend and she went in and they were like, so sweet. She was like a model, like literally like so beautiful. And I walked in with her and I was like, it was them. I didn't say that out loud.
Right.
They were like, hi, honey.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Like I'm not like Delulu. And it was kind of scary because I know their thought process. Like, it was the Bible Belt. Anywhere in the Bible Belt, I was literally afraid to get out of the car.
Yeah.
There are tons of states, because I don't wear gender conforming clothes,
Right.
that I can get arrested with Class D felony charges under drag bills. It's like, what?
I know. Isn't that wild? Like driving
Felony?
literally from California to Massachusetts or wherever. There's a plethora of states where the Equality Act is not in place.
Oh no.
And so you can 100% get arrested. I've only been hackled once for being gay.
Oh really? Where?
Yeah, Arizona.
I'm gonna sound shallow. I mean, this makes me sound like no deeper than a frisbee, but because like you're feminine presenting, I feel like that's so wild that people were like,
no,
because not normally, in my experience, whenever like, you know, there's two like feminine or whoever, if there's a feminine presenting woman, then it's kind of like it's cool until the feminine presenting woman is like, I'm gay. Like, get away from me. Because it's like guys think it's like a game. Like, if they saw you and your girlfriend, they'd be like, oh, look at them, they're hot. And try to like be like, you're too like a unicorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not like that. Like, I mean, I'm sure obviously some guys or whatever would say that. But you go into a very, very conservative area where anybody in the LGBT community is not accepted, then it doesn't matter who you are. If there's any indication that you're LGBT whatever, then it's like, no, they're coming at you. Both of us were very feminine looking, but it didn't matter. It's like, oh, they saw an opportunity to harass somebody, so they did.
Yeah. I don't know why you're so obsessed with me.
Yeah, right?
Seriously, though, like, it's got nothing to do with you. Why are you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Okay, so let's go back to childhood. Can we for a second?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to childhood, and here's my question for you. So when you started like identifying and realizing like, hey, you know, like whatever you wanted to be Jeff. So what was your family's response? Because here's the thing. They were fine. And
until I got older.
Okay, so at what point does older mean?
Like puberty, because it was like, I remember one of my aunts, we used to have May birthday parties. My because there's 11 grandchildren, so there's 11 of cousins on the Senate side, and like most of us were born in May.
Okay.
So we used to have a May birthday party for
fun.
all the May kids, and would come to my parents' pool. And I remember, this is way before I hit puberty, like still like a little boy. And one of my aunts made a comment to my mom about me not being in like a bathing suit. And I just remember being so embarrassed and like so just like shocked, like so just like I don't even know, like I felt like my whole head get like red, like I felt like my face get red, and I was just like, it was shocking to my system. So but she when I was a kid, like she always let me be a tomboy because I feel like she thought I was gonna grow out of it, and then I didn't. So, you know, and it was like growing up in like an Irish Catholic family, it was like one of those things, like I had a lot of friends, and then I finally was like, I'm over it. I'm not going to be the like bringing a friend anymore. I just said I'm out of 11 grandchildren consistently, and one of my cousins got married twice. I am the only cousin that has never ever gotten a +1 to a wedding. And when my cousin got married the second time, I called him and was like, I'm not coming home from California. I don't like, this is like, it's so much. It's so offensive why am I the only one that doesn't get a +1? You can't say it's for any other reason. They're like, it's because you're not with anybody. You don't know that. You didn't ask me. You don't know, like, what?
I haven't talked to you in like 5 years. Yeah. How would you know?
So that's another thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't, like, no one's like actively like calling, like, no one's like being like, what's up, tranny? Like, you know, being like overtly transphobic. But there's a lot of like, in the shadows thing, you know. I'm not transphobic, but the next thing I'm gonna say is wildly transphobic, so buckle up, type of thing. And then it's like, oh, holy crap, like how did you not hear what you just said? They're like, why do you even have to go for the non-binary thing? Why can't you just, honestly, for you, not you, but like I'm saying that collectively, because you guys are so concerned with fitting us into boxes, but the boxes that you put us in, we don't fit into. Just call me Beck. Don't worry about my gender. Don't worry about if I have a vagina or a penis.
Right.
Who cares? Unless you're sleeping with me, who cares?
Right.
So I just want to be treated as a person, you know?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. It's something to focus on other than, you know, the actual problems, like other than like gun violence and like inflation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like because of the fact that it's been so hard to be accepted, what do you feel like that's done to you as a person?
I thought that I would take that to my grave. I came out as non-binary in 2020 when I was driving across the country. I had a mental breakdown in Missouri.
Really?
No joke. Yeah. And I was like, I'm trans. And my friend was like, she just started crying.
Okay.
She was like, I have been waiting for you to just tell me. And I was like, really?
It just like was explosion, just came right out?
Yeah, it just came out. She was like, what is wrong? And I was literally crawling out of my skin. Some like stuff had like led up to it. But yeah, I had a mental breakdown in Missouri.
And so,
but I felt like 1,000,000 pounds lighter. I never thought I would tell anybody that. I used to defend my gender.
okay.
I used to defend my sexuality. I had a boyfriend. I didn't come out for like a long, you know, the whole thing. Just, you're not.
And so can I ask you a question? So what do you think that, like, do you think that did something holding that all in?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it definitely did.
Like what?
It made me like very insecure. It just made me not myself. I was masking. I was pretending my whole life, pretending to be, and it's traumatizing.
Right.
You know?
I totally know, because for the longest time I also couldn't come out when I was younger. And so I really do resonate and understand.
Yeah, and I remember when I came out of the closet as gay, how it was taken. So I was like...
So that was first, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you came out as non-binary, at that point, do you feel like your family accepted you?
They say that they do. They like go on and on. Like if I say I'm not, like I've come out to my sister like a handful of times, and each time she's been like, what? And it's like, whoa, we grew up in the same house. Are you kidding? Like, it's almost like when someone in my family is like clutching their pearls about me, I'm like, where have you been for the last 39 years? Like, you know, and my pronouns won't get recognized. It's improper English. Oh, actually, wait, can I tell you this?
Yeah.
Someone left their jacket over there. I don't know who left it though, but
here?
Yeah. You had people over a couple weeks ago and someone left their jacket. Did they come get it? Just answer the question. No, they didn't, right?
No.
Whose jacket is it? You knew I was talking about one person, right? I wasn't talking about a group of people. I didn't gender anyone. I just said someone left their jacket. I hope they come get it. I'm not talking about a group of people. I'm talking about a singular person.
Right, right.
And so when people are like, they, them isn't, it's improper English. It's like, it's okay. Like, and I don't have the capacity to just like, to switch it. Like, I'm just kind of like, that's what I'm going to leave you here. I'm going to leave you at your ignorance. Like, how can you have your head buried so like willingly deep in the sand?
Right.
When you have a family member, me, who will tell you on and on and on, over and over and over. And there's, I love you. I want you to be happy. I want you to find a partner. I get that, but none of that matters. Like, I've been called Beck my whole life, you know. It's obviously, but like Becca was like my like name my whole life, right? It's like, no matter how many times, it gets exhausting telling people, your family, over and over and over and over and over. Can you not call me Becca? Can you call me Beck, please? That's it, just Beck.
So what do you think, why do you think they're not doing that? Do you think it's uncomfortable for them?
I don't even think they know that they're not doing it. Like, I don't think that they think about it. I think that they're just kind of like, oh, like for me, it's a respect thing, because it's like, there's absolutely no like even effort. If you have such a hard time saying they when you're talking about me, if you have to talk about me like I'm a group of people, go ahead. Sometimes I act like I'm a whole group of people. I don't care. once you start using they, them, I promise it's not going to sound weird anymore. And I prove to them all the time, just like I did with you, but I'll use something that's actually going on. Like, I'll be like, oh, someone left this pen over here. Does anybody know whose pen this is? You know? And it's like, I didn't once say, she left her pen over, he's this. But everybody, no one thought I was talking about a group of 7 people leaving a pen over here.
Right.
You know I'm talking about a singular
One person.
So you do understand they, them in singular form.
Right.
You're just choosing
Wow.
to repeat what you hear.
Wow.
So
okay.
Wait, and if you have such a hard time using they, them, just use my name then. I don't get like up in arms about people, if people misgender me, I don't get like combative or like, I'm not like, if it's disrespectful that, you know?
Yeah.
Like when, like some guys on set, some men on set love to call me ma'am.
So rude.
But no. First of all, on what earth? Forget my gender. I'm not 85 years old. Why would you call me ma'am?
Right.
That's my grandmother. Second, what is mammish about me? Nothing. You're like literally trying to be dominant. You're trying to show your dominance is what you're doing.
They're trying to put you down.
You're swinging your dick around. Yes.
They're putting you down.
Mm-hmm.
Intentionally putting you down, intentionally trying to make you feel less than, intentionally trying to make you feel small. Do you know I had a family member tell me I was too pretty to be gay?
Oh. I love it. It's so dumb. It's like, wait, was it a guy or a girl?
Girl.
Really?
Girl.
She's a girl's guy.
She's a girl's guy.
A guy's girl.
Yeah.
She's definitely one of those. Mm-hmm. You gotta give yourself to the men.
I love how that just turned into like a laughing fit.
Because it's so like, what does that mean? I don't get it.
I
don't understand what you're saying. I'm too pretty to be gay.
Isn't that so funny?
Yeah.
It's like it's so dumb
it's
like the only thing I can do is like, it's so ignorant that the only thing I can do is literally laugh. Like, I'm sorry,
what did
but
you
that
say?
was I think I was
I laughed in her face.
No, I think I just said like, no, I think I literally just said, oh.
Neat. Cool.
I think I was just like, oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, or something like, I think I was just so
How old were you?
dumbfounded. So
right, yeah, those things really catch you off guard.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Totally. So let's back up. So I want to say it had to have been in my 20s because like my coming out journey was brutal, and that will be part of another share. But I was living out here in California, and I was back visiting. You know something?
You're from Gloucester,
No,
right?
yeah. Do you know something? I think it was at my grandmother's funeral.
Oh, God, I love that. Of course it was at a funeral.
It was at my grandmother's funeral.
That is a comedy sketch.
But do you know what? For a second, I feel like, I don't know why. I remember being in a restaurant, and you know what? It was after the wake. It was after the wake. Everybody went to a restaurant.
Okay, keep going.
And it was at the restaurant.
You want to hear something? Wait, can you tell me, is that all of it?
And she said, I don't know how the topic got brought up, but I think I was very much trying to like, just like keep it super, just like basic, not trying to get into details at all. I was a disaster when my grandmother passed, so it was not a good time. Mm-hmm. And somehow it got brought up, and she basically just said I was too pretty to be gay. And I think I said, oh, okay. And then proceeded to just like drink heavily.
Like just to cry.
And then I just like, I don't know. But it was one of those things where it's like, how do you respond? You know what I mean? But that gets filed away into the filing
of course
cabinet.
It does. You never forget shit like
right,
that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's like at some point later on in life, it rears its ugly
You
head.
literally thought you were too pretty to be gay at one point.
No, I didn't.
I'm just kidding.
But just like of how, you know what it did was it just added to, it added to my like lack of self-confidence Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, that happened. Now in hindsight, it's a good story because it's ridiculous. I mean, it's so ignorant that like we just had a good laugh, you know? But anyway, yeah, so that happened.
Dude, okay, so my mom passed away, okay?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And, oh no, rest easy, Kath. We were all at a restaurant. We were at this place called the Charlie Horse.
Okay.
And
Back in Boston.
yeah, my aunt, this aunt in particular, is the only aunt that hasn't been physically part of my life, my whole life. My family all grew up like pretty much in the same area of Boston, and then one of my aunts took off like across the country, right? I know her, obviously. She always sent Christmas presents, cards, blah, 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 blah. But because she lived so far away, it wasn't like she like neglected us or anything. It was because she lived so far away.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of us were so close and so tight. But with that said, this, it wasn't coming. It was baseless. It was the stuff that she was saying to me was so hurtful, so baseless. My mom just died, okay? She looks at me and we're sitting at the Charlie Horse and she looks at me and she was like, honey, your mother loved you. You know that, right? And the second she said that, it's like, don't say anything else because I know the next thing out of your mouth. I know exactly something, you know?
Yeah.
And I like looked at her and I'm thinking in my head, like, where's this going? And then she was like, you know, she had so my mom, little side note, my mom had a really rough childbirth with my sister. Both my sister and my mom almost died. She had placenta previa, hemorrhage. They thought my sister was going to be blind and deaf.
Oh my goodness.
Whole big thing. She was told after my sister, no more kids.
Oh my goodness.
She tried for 6 years to get pregnant again, and then I came along. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like kind of like this like wonder child.
So is it just
It's just me and my sister.
Okay.
So saying in the beginning it was difficult, it was like, oh, well, was it difficult? Because I remember my mom always telling me we tried 6 years to get pregnant, we couldn't, and then we had you, and it was just like wonderful. So it was like, okay, it was very difficult for my mother to get pregnant with me. Is that what she's talking about, or is she talking about what I think she's talking about?
Right.
And then you could tell, you know, she had a few drinks to get a little preachy, little, you know, I'm older than you, so I'm going to say it. You're going to listen to it. You're not going to say anything back because that's just how it is. I'm your elder.
I'm your elder.
Sitting there, and she's like, it was really tough in the beginning, you know, but like, I just hope you know how much your mother loved you. And I'm like looking at her like, you were around at weddings and funerals, period. Why are you telling me that my mom loved me? Like you witnessed it or something. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking it.
Right.
Okay.
You're like, I know she loved me.
Yeah. And then she was like, you know, the whole like, and then she brought up being Catholic, and I was like, okay, so you are going with me being gay.
Yeah.
Like you are bringing up
Yeah.
my sexuality.
Oh my goodness.
And it's like you're really, what are you talking about? You have no clue, and you're gonna try to tell me that your mother loved you. You know that, right? Bro, get out of here with that.
So unnecessary.
So unnecessary.
None of that even had to be part of the conversation.
I don't know.
But like on top of it, it just like,
but then
it's sidelining. It's like, it's very uncomfortable. And it's like, wait a minute, why are we even going here?
But then the forcefulness of it, like I can't even like I can't get away from her. And I had to leave. I had to drive back to my dad's house because my aunt was trying to just like come at me like a piranha for some reason.
Wow.
And I don't, but her words, not mine. My mom didn't have a problem with, you know, she did in the beginning, but she really did accept you and love you. Thanks. I mean, the load coming from you. You don't even know my middle name, but you know how much my mother loved me.
Wow.
What are you talking about?
I know, right?
Right?
So, okay, that's wild. Now, like with your family, right? Mm-hmm. First and foremost, I'm so sorry to hear about your mom. How are things now with your family? Like, is it cool? Is it still like, you know, have they adjusted, or what does that look like?
It's just not talked about.
It's just not talked about?
I can't talk about it. I know that I can't.
Okay.
I don't even address it anymore.
Okay. And can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Does that weigh on you?
Oh yeah, of course it does. Because I need you guys
right.
to be like, look, my family member Beck is transgender and they are not XYZ. There's currently a huge thing going on right now in the world politically with trans people, and no one in my family is like, I have a trans family member, and all of this is bullshit. They're all like, We just want to protect the genitals of the children. We're going to keep talking about this baseless bull that doesn't have any fact behind it.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear when they talk to me.
Okay. So can I ask you something? Oh my gosh, you literally can make a really serious conversation so comical. You bring comedy and light to it and like levity. So I appreciate you for that.
It's a defense mechanism.
So let me ask you, Beck, let me ask you this. Like, how have you been navigating through that? Like with your family, right? It's like you just don't talk about it. It obviously weighs heavy on you, right? How have you been getting through it?
Disassociating. I don't know. I guess I don't talk about it.
Okay.
I literally, or this.
Yeah.
I make jokes.
Okay. And you know what? Comedy brings a lot of light to things. Mm-hmm. So
it is
so
tough,
I get that.
though, when people like, and like, oh, another thing too that I think is absolutely wild is that my voice, this is my natural voice. It's deep, it's gravelly, it's whatever. I've had a very deep voice since I was a kid. So when I was a kid, I was like this little towhead. I was so cute. It's like bleach blonde hair, blue eyes. And like I would be in like what my mother, looked like my mother dressed me in a curtain. Like the dresses she would put me in were like so crazy. But I was like, 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
I would come flying in the room and be like, hey guys. And I had a really deep voice, right? And it always used to make people laugh.
Yeah.
So from a very young age, I learned to mask my voice. And if you listen to my voicemail, this is what I talked like my whole entire life. Literally, this was how high my voice. If you call my phone number right now, okay, hey, this is Becca, leave me a message. Because if I talk like this, I either got made fun of, I got teased, or people laughed at me, or whatever. So I learned to mask my voice at a very, very young age. So it's like there's a lot of things that like you do, or that I did subconsciously, that like I wasn't even aware that I was doing. And it's all psychological warfare.
to get by. Mm-hmm. To get by, get through.
Dude, I had no idea that I masked my voice until I came out as non-binary. I remember when I started talking with like a deeper voice.
Wow. So for kids out there that are non-binary and don't belong in a box and maybe struggling, like what would you say to them? Like what advice would you give to them?
Well, first of all, that you're not alone. There are a lot of us out there.
Right.
You're not a circus act. You're not invalid. You're yourself. My advice is to keep yourself safe. When it becomes like a question of safety or something like that, or like your sanity, like your mental health, it's just best to I'm not saying to internalize anything, but it's like you have to have like a core, like a support group. And the people that aren't your support group, for me, it was like a moth to the flame. Like I like literally wanted to do everything to try to like prove myself to like who I am. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? Like all you can do is just be you and exist. And like if people have a problem with it, then like I hate to say this, but it's like toxic is toxic. It's just best to know your boundaries with whoever you're speaking to, and to know that like you just feel it out. But like everything's gonna be okay. You're not weird. You're not different.
Right.
There's a lot of us that are like you.
Yep.
We've just been oppressed and suppressed and
yeah. No, you said something that I think is like super important, and that's it's gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. Because it will. You know what I mean? I think that like so much anxiety, so much fear, depression, kind of just swirling within a lot of LGBT kids.
Oh yeah, definitely. To a person that is like giving you a hard time, or like whatever, it's more about them than it is about you.
Correct.
If you find yourself getting upset or pissed off or whatever, that you feel like you're going to react out of character, or you're going to say something or do something that you regret, remove yourself. It's not worth it. There's no sense in circling the drain with someone who is committed to not understanding you.
Right.
So remove yourself.
Right.
Because everything you say, they're going to have something that either doesn't make sense or is completely doesn't correlate with anything that you're talking about.
Right.
And they're going to confuse you. And then before you know it, you're frustrated, you're upset, you're sad. You're like, I have to prove myself to this person.
And in the mental turmoil.
Mm-hmm. So just remove yourself, because there's
right.
no point in circling the drain with people who are committed to misunderstand you.
Wow. Dude, that was powerful. That was good right there. I love that. There's a lot of kids out there that need adults that they can relate to. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you gained something from this content. Bex, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely not alone and everything will get better, I promise. Just don't let temporary problems, become like a permanent solution. 1 in 5 queer people actually attempt suicide. Please don't do that. Don't.
Right. If you're in that scenario, there is a suicide and crisis helpline. It is 988. You can seek community there, and you'll get through this. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.